Welcome back to From Corporate to Cashflow. We're Andrea Cannon and Liz Schwab, two pharmacists navigating the process of building time and financial freedom through real estate lending and investing while working our day jobs. Navigating the journey is difficult, but our podcast guests are experts in showing us how it's done. And today we have Whitney Parkhill with us. Whitney, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me, ladies.
Yay. Very excited to get to know you, Whitney. I know we'll dive into more talk about dogs, but first, let's get a little bit of background on you. So I would love to hear about where you started in your journey and where you are today.
Yeah, should I go back to like where my career started 20 years
Yeah.
ago? Okay. Very high level. From a young age, I always knew that I loved fashion. And so I thought that was going to mean one day owning a clothing shop. It actually meant studying retail in college. And I began my fashion career at Bloomingdale's in New York City. And so I was in retail for 15 years, taking me across the whole country, also working at Target Corporation in Minneapolis. And then I landed in San Francisco. And in 2020, I decided that as much as I love fashion, it was just not filling my cup. And I was in search of more freedom. And that is how I found where I am today, which is in real estate as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I know you said it wasn't filling your cup, but like, why real estate? Like, why not just something else, right?
Great question. So when I left my W 2, at that point, I had no idea what was next. I just knew I can't keep doing this. Like, life is short. I cannot keep like forcing myself to do something that is just literally shaving years off of my life. And so, no idea what was next, but just an utmost faith in myself that I was going to figure it out. I had spent COVID flipping my little house that I had purchased in the Bay Area. I bought that January of 2020, like literally right before the world shut down, and had fun along the way. And in recognizing, okay, I'm leaving my W 2, I also made the decision to leave the Bay Area. And so my plan was to move to Miami. And so that meant I needed to sell my house. Okay, great. Well, it ended up getting featured in the New York Times, and I made very substantial profit on it too. And I was like, this is my sign. Like, this is God showing me that this is my next step. And so started digging in and researching, like, what does a career as a real estate fix and flipper look like? Oh, there are like programs and mentorships that can help with this. And so really, truly, honestly, I feel like it was a God thing that led me to where I am today.
And then was it your house, your flip that was in the New York Times, or were you there
Yes.
for fashion? Okay. Wow. How did that even come about?
I asked my realtor that, and I don't know if she like had a hand in it. She says that she didn't, but the whole article was like what your money can, like what $800,000 can buy you in California. And so it featured like San Francisco versus LA, all of this. Well, if anybody knows real estate in California, what you list it for and what you get are like two entirely different things. Um, but anyways, with that, my little house was featured in the article.
That's so cool. Like, I was not expecting that at all. Like, like New York Times, like, what? That's
Yeah,
crazy. Congrats
it
to
was
you.
it was definitely a surprise, a fun surprise.
Yeah. And then, so did you do any flips after the one in the Bay Area, or did you just start navigating to other things within real estate?
So I first started as a private money lender. After I sold my little flip, started as a private money lender, which I have still been reeling from some trauma from that, because anybody that gets into that space, like, really got to know what you're doing. I know, Andrea, you know that very well, always providing PML guidance. And so I pulled away from PMLing for a little bit, and that's when I started getting more into fix and flipping, doing things more out of state, which that had its own challenges. So did that for a little while before deciding kind of where I am now in the RV park space. So have kind of tried out a little bit of everything, because as we all know about entrepreneurship and also about real estate, you kind of have to try different things to learn like where your skill set is, where your passions are, like where everything aligns. So for me, it's taken a few years, but I'm no longer fix and flipping.
Fair, fair. So can you tell us more about your focus on RV parks then?
Yes, absolutely. So this came about through having conversations about my Mount Everest goal. And for anybody who may not know what a Mount Everest goal is, it's really about where you are pushing yourself and what you want to achieve. Like some really, really big, massive goal that most people would probably think is crazy. And so I was sharing with friends, in the real estate community that I want to have a dog rescue and save all of the dogs. And through those conversations, it just like continued evolving. And I was getting incredible ideas from people as to like how to take the rescue and make it like revenue producing to save more dogs, right? And so it was one specific conversation with my now business partner, Melissa Ryan, who was focusing on RV parks. Like, how can we merge these two things? She's also a dog lover. And so that's how this was born. Like RV parks can come with plenty of extra acreage and land for us to build the infrastructure to house all the dogs. RV parks are also can be very, very, very profit friendly to help fund the rescue. So that's really how it came about, was like through networking and just conversing with people.
Yeah. So with the dog sheltering and such and the RV park combined, are the people that are going to the RV park like interacting with the dogs, or is it like a completely separate entity, or like what does that vision look like?
Great question. So we are closing on our first park at the end of January 2026. Once we get that fully stabilized and all of the revenue engines fully optimized, we'll start working on the rescue portion of it, which will be a separate entity. So probably like 24 months. We have started digging in a little bit into what that looks like. What does the vision entail? But we haven't gotten into all of the nuances yet. So I can share what we know of as of today. So our parks will be very, very dog friendly. Actually, a fun fact that we love is that more people travel with their dog than they do their children. So we are going, like, before we even get into the rescue side of things, we are going to make this first park like the most epic RV park for dogs like ever known, right? Like the dog park will have poop bag stations everywhere. Like we want to be offering like a little doggy cafe where, maybe they come for a little doggy ice cream cone or something, like just a place where as a dog lover, you're like, I want to go for the experience. Not only will they accept my dog, but my dog is also going to have a great time. So we'll start attracting the dog people that way. And then when we add on the rescue, which will be a separate entity, kind of part of the vision is because of the rescue, more tourists and travelers will come to the area. And if they go home with an extra pup or two in their RV, great. We would love that. We will also have like tiny homes or little cabins on the rescue property where people can come like for a single night stay and stay with the rescue dog or two, like cuddle with them overnight, kind of like test it out, give the dog some love. That we'll charge for that. So that'll be revenue producing. So the vision is still very much still being built, but this first park has 10 acres that have been untouched. So when we're ready, we'll be able to clear that space and really start building the infrastructure and have enough space between that and the campground where, you can still have peace and quiet in the campground. And it's not just like dog barking in the background.
Yeah, no, this is great. I love this. And I know we already talked about some of this with Melissa in the past, but I'll just reiterate, I think it's such a great mission. Like, obviously, I will give myself the self-proclaimed title of greatest dog lover of all time. But it sounds like you are too, so I understand. So this is like my dream scenario, honestly, like to be able to hang out with dogs, to rescue dogs, to have a RV friendly and like dog focused park. It's like, I think such a great idea. And it's funny because I feel like so many of the places that we see on social media or like from influencers being like, oh, hey, look at what a great time I had. And it's like such a perfect avenue for like dog lovers too, right? Because I'm constantly looking for like, where can I take my dog? And it's just like, it's so expensive half the time to stay in like hotels. I'm like, I don't really even want to stay in a hotel with my dog. Like, I want to go do like fun things outdoors and bring my dog along and have the dogs integrated, right? And so I think it's like such a great idea and something that's really needed and that people will pay for.
It
So,
is so needed. So I now have 3 dogs. And when I just had one, traveling, getting into a hotel, like there was not really an issue with one dog. Of course, limited to dog friendly hotels and having to pay the extra fee, which can vary anywhere from $50 a night to 150, like whatever. But now that I have 3, like actually no hotels will take 3. Like,
yeah.
so now traveling has taken on a new meaning. And so my grandparents like have been RVers for like the last 50 or 60 years. I was just telling my 95-year-old grandmother, I think it's time I get an RV because that's going to be the easiest way to travel with these 3 dogs now. And they'll be more comfortable in their home. I also cook for them like every breakfast and dinner. Like I'm kind of that crazy dog lover. I might rival you, Liz.
Yeah.
And like I can't cook for them in a hotel, right? But I could cook for them in the RV. So yeah, we are really bringing dog lovers and RV life together.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I've done multiple cross country trips and in the van, and I've done them with my dog also, and they were very challenging. So I think this is going to solve like a huge need in the marketplace. I love that you're doing it. I'm curious if you don't mind sharing like the background about the actual dog rescue because I love dogs, but I've never taken on that next step, next huge. It's not even next step. It's like a next clearly Mount Everest vision of the dog rescue, and so I want to hear like a little bit more about how that got started for you.
Hmm. So I did not grow up with rescues. I grew up with purebreds. Um, and once I rescued the love of my life, she's now 12. She's a chocolate lab sleeping here right next to me under a blanket. She just changed my life in the absolute best way. I know that some people may think I'm nuts. Well, I'm sure a lot of people think I'm nuts, but I very much believe in soul dogs, and Belle is my soul dog. My other 2, I love dearly. Like they're also my kids, but like Belle, there's something like so special. And when I rescued her, she was actually a gift from an ex boyfriend. He was trying to make amends. And well, I kept the dog and got rid of him. But like she has just touched my heart in such a deep and profound way. And she was with me, when my mom was diagnosed with her terminal illness and like saw me through all of that and navigating what life has been, the ups and downs of life. And there have been some pretty low lows. And I truly, honestly don't think I would be here today if it weren't for her. And so I want to give back because she has been so incredibly impactful in my life. And so, like, very on into adopting her, I was like, you are so amazing. Like, how can the world experience more of you? And it just came to me through like rescuing. These dogs are so incredible. And they're all rescues are just they have so much love to give, like no matter their background, right? And they deserve to be loved and they deserve these homes, and the rescues are overflowing. And it just like kills me. I can't even watch the videos with how many are put down just because there isn't space, and food costs so much and all of these things. And so I really just decided years ago that like the best way to honor Belle was to save all the dogs that I can.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that is so special. And I just wanted to hear more about how that got started. And I was right to guess that it was going to be a very touching story. So I really appreciate you sharing that. I also do believe in soul dogs. So that is, man, I'm getting the chills. But thank you so much for sharing that story with us. So I know that you partnered with Melissa, and I know that she does RV parks. Do you feel like and I know like the extra space and things like that. Um, is there also any other particular reasons why you think that the RV parks make the most sense instead of some other sort of setup?
Other setup versus like going after single family or
Yeah,
multifamily
yeah,
housing.
or something like that, like, a large multifamily that also maybe there's college students, they could walk the dog, or, like other things, right? I'm just trying to think about like other paths that you could have gone down and RV parks specifically, because I know everyone seems to be very interested in RV parks right now, but I love the way that you've tied
Oh
them
yes,
together.
RV parks are like so hot right now. I'm kind of hoping that the interest and rage around them dies down soon. Um, I mean, this venture could be taken on via so many different,
Mhm.
vehicles in real estate. I think the reason we chose RV parks, when you look at things on a per pad basis and look at overall expenses, this is actually one of the most profit producing and efficient ways to do them, like more so than a multifamily. Also, just being outdoors, right, with the whole like dog component of it. Um, that's kind of how we ventured into it. But could we do it with something else? 100%. This is just kind of where we felt drawn to.
Yeah, no, and that makes a ton of sense. I mean, I think both Liz and I have some interest in RV parks, but it's been a little bit intimidating, to be honest. So I'm like, how do you even like, have you guys found an operator? How are you going about like running the actual RV park? Are you doing that? Like, give me some insight into this. This is like the main hurdle in my brain as to getting involved in RV parks myself.
Well, okay, so we are hiring. You love dogs. Do you girls want to come be our operator in Tennessee? Um,
Yes.
it we pay in dog treats and belly rubs. Um, what was I going to say? So yes, that can absolutely be an intimidating aspect of it. The approach that we have taken is like one thing at a time, because if we start thinking too far down the road, it can become completely overwhelming. So like get it under contract, then get our funding. Okay, now we're in the long process of due diligence. We have 90 days to get that done before closing. And so during that process, we are going to be, interviewing people, getting our team in order, because this park has 5 owners, and it's the 5 owners that have been running and operating it for the last 12 years. And so upon the sale, like, they're going to be gone. And so we have to get an entire team in place. We are working with a consultant who came to us from Campground Marketplace. She has not only lived in an RV park for many years, but she owns multiple parks herself. And so she has extensive knowledge. And so we have been asking her some of these questions, like, okay, how we've got a long payroll list. How are we finding all these people? How are we affording them? And so she's like, oh, you can get work campers, people that live on the property. Maybe they get a free pad in exchange for them doing the maintenance work or helping with some of the housekeeping or working the front office, like all of these things. And so, to answer your question, I would say yes, it can be intimidating, but just bite things off in bite sized chunks. Like, you're both incredibly brilliant people. We can figure this out. Like, if Melissa and I can figure this out, anybody can, like, we're just normal people like everyone else. So I think it's not thinking too far down the road. We will not be living there. So it's in Tennessee. I live in South Carolina. Melissa lives all the way in California. So we will be checking in on occasion, but we will be fully reliant on a very strong staff to run it on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, that's excellent. I hope that maybe we can check back in with you and or Melissa about 6 months after you guys have started to see like maybe some of the hurdles and things that you would have done differently once this gets kicked off. But it sounds like you want to buy quite a few of these. And so tell us a little bit more about your goals for the future with the RV park specifically, and how are you looking in a specific area? How are you finding these deals? Like, give us a little bit of that scoop.
Yeah. So our goal is to purchase 3 parks a year for the next 5 years. So in total, we're looking at 15 parks. And when we break that down, the goal is to rescue 100,000 dogs. So we need a lot of space in order to do that. Now, not every park is going to be the same size. Some parks are going to be much larger than others. And so it's not like we're setting out to say each park, it has to be able to hold 1,000 dogs at one point. No, not saying that at all. We'll kind of figure that out as we go. But yes, right now the mission is 3 parks a year for 5 years, and really get to a place where it is providing us passive income because we have incredible teams owning and operating that. Like, I really want my time to be able to be spent on the rescue, knowing that the parks are fully managed and taken care of, because that's like where my passion is. Like, I want to be with the dogs on a daily basis.
Preach. Yeah. And then are you focusing on getting this one up and running first before you look for other RV parks to acquire?
So that is such a great question. We learned a lot with this first one and just the length of time it took to find it and then get it under contract. Like, we were in negotiations for 8 weeks of just back and forth.
Mm.
And so we are actually already looking for our next park before even
Okay.
getting closed on this one. So we're looking to acquire about every 4 months, that to give us like 3 parks a year. Now, if one of those comes to us sooner than other, like, that's fine. But the overall goal is 3 a year. So right now we're targeting the next acquisition to be May.
Wow. Okay. And I'm sure we touched on this on the podcast with Melissa, but can you just remind us like what type of RV park you're looking for?
Yes. So we are focused more on the resort side of things, which offers more hospitality. So we are fine if there are long-term guests at the park. But we don't want that to be like the majority or all of who is at the park, because we want those short-term stays as well. Come in the summer for a week or a weekend, kind of coming through on making a vacation of it. And so with that, we want a number of amenities. This first one has an amazing saltwater pool. It has a pond, that you can fish on. We may also add kayaking or canoeing to it. There's a great hot tub. There's basketball, volleyball, a playground. So we just want a ton of amenities where it's like, okay, we can go park the RV and like have the whole vacation around us. So we learned about our preferences by going on a tour. So back Labor Day weekend, we visited 6 parks in 3 days across 5 states. We spent like 21 hours driving in the car together with my 3 dogs in the back. And so we actually, like, going into that trip, we already had a park under contract. Then we visited it in person and we decided, oh, like, this is just not our vibe, right? Totally fine park for someone else. It's just not exactly what we were looking for. So it helped us hone our buy box. So we are looking for more of that like campground resort versus like full-time living.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Did you have your dogs fill out evaluation forms after each RV park? Okay.
Yeah, they told us like based on how much sniffing they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, good or
That's so cute.
they love.
I love like trying to paddleboard or kayak with my dog, and so when you said that, I was like, that's like the perfect setup ever. So, so excited for you. I will be one of your first guests. Um, and I would love to hear, did you have any like mindset issues or barriers or changes that you needed to make coming out of the fashion industry and then pivoting into, RV parks or real estate?
Oh, this is so good. Yes, absolutely. Coming from a W-2, which was extremely cutthroat, working in the world of fashion in New York City is like, whoo boy, not for the faint of heart. And so with that, like regularly having my day scheduled for me, right? With a boss saying you've got to do X, Y, and Z, and you like basically not having any free time to think for myself, shifting into the world of entrepreneurship where my time is my own. And I basically have to decide what my goals are and how I am going to achieve them. And so, major mindset shift. I also think being in the corporate America world for 15 years and having someone else give performance reviews every year, that can be incredibly subjective, and somebody else basically dictating your worth and performance can take a toll, right? On you thinking, oh, well, I can only get here, right? I can't shoot for the stars because my next level is here. Like, I'm going to work my tail off to just keep climbing the ladder, like one rung at a time. And I think in the world of entrepreneurship, truly knowing and understanding that the sky is the limit, right? The world is your oyster. You can go as far as you want, as fast as you want. Like, it is entirely up to you. Nobody is holding you back but yourself. I had to spend some time like working through that. Like, cause I was constant, oh, that's not possible for me. Like, I can't go and do that. Who am I to own a $3.5 million RV park, like right off the bat? No, absolutely. This is made for me. So just going out and doing it and not letting my fear stop me along the way. Like earlier, when I was saying one step at a time, if I think too far down the road, it is entirely overwhelming. Like, neither Melissa or I had ever capital raised before, right? But here we are, we've got a $3.5 million park under contract. Instead of the like, oh my gosh, where are we going to get the money for this? How are we going to capital raise $1.4 million? It was like, okay, now we have to figure out how to capital raise. Now we're going on to Deal Maker. We are presenting the deal. And literally the next thing we know, we are being fully funded by Pace Morby, and he is our partner. So it's about mindset, and it is also about believing that you are fully worthy and capable, and crazy magic happens when you like are aligned and believe that in your soul.
I love that so much. It's definitely a different, energy going from the W-2 world to the, entrepreneurship world. And I think you've highlighted that really, really well. And I know you and Kayla are working on something, and maybe it's already launched by the time this podcast has happened. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about that?
Yes. So Kayla Appleman and I were both in the world of corporate America in fashion in San Francisco at the same exact time. It is such a small world. And then we meet once we have become entrepreneurs in the real estate space. But knowing that where we came from and what we have, worked through to get where we are today is something that we really want to share with others. And so we are launching a program called Unbound. And we just can't wait to help people really truly learn their true identity and what they were meant for in this world, and work through their limiting beliefs that might be holding them back.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool. And we had Kayla on as a guest several episodes ago. It's probably been 20 episodes ago now, but she is awesome. We've used her as our transaction coordinator for a lot of our deals. And it's funny because we went through a lot of transaction coordinators that we liked, but she was actually working the deal as the representative for a buyer on a deal I was wholesaling. And I distinctly remember I messaged that buyer. I was like, "Is she like your person, or like can I use her going forward?" He was like, "Oh no, she's mine, but also she can be yours too." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we haven't used anybody else since." I mean, she's such an
She's
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah, it's wild working with her. Just how on top of everything she is, how comfortable I feel like working with her, how smoothly the transactions go, how much like she's just got all the level headedness, all the answers. Like, we ask her so many questions before we even get something under contract, and it's a little bit, confusing or something. So she's just awesome. And I love that you guys have that connection. That's so funny.
Yes. It's truly such a small world. She is the best of the best. Nothing like phases her, always calm and cool under pressure, no matter what is going on around her. So I feel honored to call her a business partner and be working with her.
I love that. I love that. So, we talked about mindset, but wondering if you have specifically any habits or routines that you've developed since moving from being a corporate W-2, worker to more of an entrepreneur. And I know those things are different, right? So, any habits or routines you've developed to stay productive and focused on your goals?
To stay focused on my goals, I think it's really rooted in my morning routine and also in the evening, like having time for myself to be present and not feeling like I'm just rush throughout the day. And then I eat dinner and go to bed and then start all over again. Like truly being conscious and aware of my day, spending more time with my dogs. And the more I am connected to who I am and what my goals are, like the more things just ebb and flow and I'm not forcing quite so much. So, huge proponent, of my morning, like starting with gratitude. I do some reading and some journaling. I get my workout in and a very, very conscious decision for a dog walk with all three of them because, in the past, I was just rushing so much with the W-2 that like many times my workout would just get like thrown by the wayside or I wouldn't create enough time for a dog walk. At that time, I just had one. And it's one of my non-negotiables on my calendar now is the dogs first and my workout before I can get anything else done for the day. So the morning routine is absolutely critical. And then the evening, like really having time to wind down and spend with myself is also super important.
Yeah, I like the intention of all this, right? And it's so easy, this sounds bad, but to be like, hey, no, I'll walk you tomorrow, right? And like today was just overwhelming. And then the next day comes and you're like, oh crap, I did it again. So I like that you set that intention to like just do it, right, with the dogs. And to your point, like they're one of the main reasons that you're have this focus in the RV parks and rescuing dogs. So I like that it's all comes back and is centered around that. So warms the heart. It's
They're
very
my
cute.
kids, so they get all of me.
Yeah, I love it. And then I do have some questions about just, I guess, general things that you've learned along your way. And I do have a question about PML, even though it's not something you're focusing on anymore, because it is something that Andrea and I do have a focus in specifically. So I was just wondering if you could maybe share like a piece of advice of something that you learned, even though, like you said, you're not focusing on it anymore, that you wish you would have known at the beginning of being a PML.
Oh, I could write a whole book on advice that I could give. I had taken a break and I went out and I did another deal with somebody, and that's proving again why I'm taking a break. Um, I think my personal biggest piece of advice is really know the person. And, we think that there are all of these documents out there that can protect us, and they're legally binding and this, that, and the other. For me, it comes down to knowing the person and what are their true colors. Do they have integrity? Um, can they actually pay back the loan in some capacity? Because I've ended up with more houses than I have my money back. Um, and, that's definitely not what I was setting out to do. That's how my portfolio started. So, knowing the person, right? And that comes with any partnership. You really need to date them before you just get married. And I think I have just jumped into the marriage part a little too quickly. Um, so that would be my personal piece of advice. I mean, I could go on and on and on about all of the paperwork that needs to be in play and being cross collateralized and all of this. But number one on the list is know the partner.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's my best advice too, right? Like the deal can look good, but how's the person? And like, do they have integrity? Are they gonna do the right thing? So I totally agree about that. And then I was also going to ask, is there, like, let's say people don't want to lend, right? Or they're not interested in doing a lot of the things, but maybe they want to collaborate with you on like RV parks or something along those lines. Is there an opportunity to do that?
Oh, yes. I mean, we can use all of the help possible for sure. We're also looking to start building our team because, we do have such aggressive goals. So one of our like non-negotiables is somebody who has done the mindset work and has their head on straight. Like they are not overwhelmed by big goals or big to-do lists or anything. But yes, whether it is, helping us find new parks, on the acquisition side of things, if it's helping us raise capital, if it's helping us like find grants and sponsorships for the dog rescue portion of it. We've also had people come forward saying that they live in RVs and would love to help us with the operation and like be boots on the ground. We are open to all of it. We just want to meet you. So yeah, to that, I'd say we need 1,000 hands on deck for what we are trying to achieve. So people should just reach out.
I love that. That sounds awesome. Like you guys have a lot going on and many opportunities to collaborate. So thinking about those people that, maybe are new to starting their own financial independence journey, maybe they're thinking about leaving their W-2. What piece of advice would you give them in about 30 seconds if they're just getting started?
Don't let your fear hold you back. Like truly jump out of the plane and the parachute will find you. You do not have to have every single thing figured out first before you launch into, this adventure in some capacity. Truly and honestly, you'll figure it out as you go. And I think it's just inherent that we let fear lead the way, and that'll be what holds you back. So just jump.
I love that. Oh, that's cool. A little scary, but cool. I like it.
I think whatever is most risky or scary is always what is worth it the most, right? If it doesn't scare you a little, it's not a big enough goal or dream or anything like that. But that's my own thought and opinion.
No, I think that's a good take because the safe way is also the boring and not risk taking way, and you know what you're going to get, and it probably isn't the best, right? Staying in a W-2, not having any extra income, not that you can't stay in a W-2, but relying on it permanently. I mean, even look at like the government shutdown and things. You think government jobs are about as stable as it gets, and here people weren't getting paid for months and some people getting let go and all the things. So, I mean, I think that's a really, really good point. Thinking about just outside, I know you have a great mission, so it's not like it's all about making money, but just thinking about other things outside of money from like a work perspective and what we're doing in this building process of building wealth. Liz and I both love traveling, exploring the outdoors, and having fun while we're on this journey. So we're curious if you have any bucket list travel upcoming or anything you're hoping to accomplish in the next couple of years.
Oh, I love this so much. So I also love travel. Um, I spent 2018 traveling the world by myself. It was right after my mom had passed away, and before she died, we made a promise that I was going to hit all of her bucket list places that she never made it to and spread her ashes. And so I got started on that in 2018, and it was so incredible. And now I'm going to start crying. And then COVID happened, and I went back to work. And so I got held up, but number one on top of my list, which I know you just went to, Andrea, is South Africa and Botswana. And so I want to make that happen so, so badly. I did Australia and New Zealand and Fiji and Bali, Thailand, all of Europe. It just like so, so, so amazing. But I did not make it to Africa. And so I still have ashes that I need to spread there. And so that is right now on top of the list. I do not have anything booked. Right now, all of my travel entails like going to tour RV parks. So I need to get that on the list, but Africa will be next.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to chat about when you do get that on the list because that trip for me was pretty incredible. I like a quick background about it. My husband, it was his idea for that to be our 10-year wedding anniversary trip. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, like that would have been the one I would have guessed he would have chosen. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm going. And so it's so funny because it was like when we're on our way, I'm like, oh, next time we go do something like this, I'd like to add on this other thing. And he was like, oh, I think this is like a one and done. I think this is a one and done trip. And I was like, okay, well, like maybe for our next 10-year wedding anniversary, so like at 20 years. And he was like, yeah, maybe. And as soon as we left South Africa, he was like, which was the first country we went to out of like 7 countries in Africa, he was like, yeah, I could do that again in 5 years. And I was like, what? Like, this is weird for him. Like he's not really like a repeater type of a person. And then after we left Tanzania, which was the last country we spent the most time in, we did Kenya right after that, but it was just on a layover. He was like, yeah, I'd like to come back in like 2 years and do like another safari again. And this is like the biggest endorsement I have ever heard from him.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to have to get your itinerary and follow that. So I love hearing that.
Yeah, can confirm. Not much excites Austin, so this is like huge, huge deal. So, but yeah, I think that's such a sweet way to remember your mom too. That's like super sweet. So I love that for you, and I hope that you are able to go to all the rest of the places. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Although it's this give and take I'm finding as well. The more dogs that I'm rescuing, that live with me, that are like my kids, I'm like, oh, but I don't want to be away from you for multiple weeks going to the other side of the world. So as much as I want to go to Africa, I'm like, well, that's going to be a really long trip. And then I have to be away from the babies. So
Yep. Yep. I totally get it. Totally get it. And then people would say, well, they're not kids. And you're like, no, they are. So I, no, I get it. So all right, so I know we've gone over a lot today with your RV parks and your dog mission and your journey and mindset, right? So if people would like to get in contact with you to learn more, to maybe to sign up for this new venture that you're starting with Kayla, what is the best way that they can get in contact with you?
probably at my Instagram handle, the Whitney Parkhill. I will respond to all DMs, and if we need to take it to email or jump on a phone call from there, we can, but that's the best.
That's perfect. Well, we really appreciate you coming on today. Your journey is so inspiring and so special. And so thank you so much for sharing everything with us today. We just super appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. You ladies are just amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so thank you so much. We appreciate that, and thank you everyone for listening to today's episode of From Corporate to Cashflow. We will catch you next week. Hey, it's Andrea. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, I'd love it if you hit subscribe. Thanks so much.